Well, I remain generally pessimistic about bilateral relations, and this is because if we look at all the negativity that happened during the Trump years, it starts during the late Obama administration and then really gets worse during the Trump years, but then incredibly worse during the Biden administration. And indeed, all the negative things that we've seen just this year from the Biden administration that have been very damaging to China, as well as China's image internationally. I'm not yet ready to say that the recent positive talks are a clear indicator that we have turned a corner. And I think these are down to two things. The first thing is that we will have the APEC meeting this month. We know that President Xi plans to attend this meeting, and we know that the White House has announced that an agreement has been reached that President Xi and President Biden will meet on the sidelines of this meeting. I think it's important to both countries that a meeting takes place. It would be embarrassing to both countries if a meeting didn't take place. But a meeting can only take place if there are no new major provocations. But the second thing is the U.S. has been so aggressive in advancing things like AUKUS, like selling nuclear submarines to Australia, to dragging South Korea and Japan into this anti-China containment policy. My sense is that these developments were so aggressive, they outpaced America's ability to do some other things. So one of the things that the U.S. wanted to do was to decouple more economically from China than it's been able to do. They wanted to reshore more manufacturing in the U.S. and they haven't been able to do this. So I think that in order to give the U.S. more time to advance the economic side of its agenda, it's having to slow down some of the aggression that it was doing. One of the concerns that I have is that after the APEC meeting, we will see, as we've seen, every time that there's been some sort of positive development in the last couple of years, it's been immediately followed by some sort of very negative statement or even provocative action by the Biden administration or by congressional leaders, whether Pelosi traveling to Taipei or McCarthy meeting Taiwanese authorities in California. My sense is that given the election year and the fact that this will heat up and that the China issue is one of the major issues that both parties are focusing on, we will see them once again grandstanding over the China issue, if not in December, then certainly in January as we move onward to the election. I think there is a fundamental factor that is driving competition between China and the United States, and it's very simple. The United States depends, its economy depends at this point, it depends on its ability to manipulate the dollar as the global currency. In other words, it depends on the hegemony of the dollar and the U.S. ability to dominate the global financial system. And to back this up, the very powerful military. So this is to say that the U.S. system, that the U.S. economy depends on hegemony. And what China is saying is, okay, well, we don't want to overthrow the United States. We don't want to be a hegemon ourselves. We just don't want to be subjugated to U.S. hegemony. So China isn't looking to challenge the U.S. in some direct way. China is simply saying we deserve the right to develop and to advance without restrictions being imposed upon us by the U.S. And again, we've seen the U.S. imposing restrictions on other countries that were rising in the past, including, for example, Japan. So I don't think this is really about a clash of civilizations. This is a clash of a U.S. model that depends on domination and a China that's saying we don't want to be dominated.